Hello, today I will start the new topic, and that would be the transportation of materials in the plants and in human body. In the transportation part, we will have to cover the entire topic. I mean the transporting arteries, veins and capillaries. In human body, the transport system, which includes the different types of organelles, I mean the biggest organelle and very important organelle is human heart. And in the transport of water, minerals and food in the plants is very interesting, and that would be covered in two videos. So very first, in the transportation of different material in the body, I will start. Very first, in the transport, we will begin with the human heart, which is very important and very interesting also. In human heart, as you know, that different arteries, whether it is inferior artery, superior artery, pulmonary vein, inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, they are all involved in the transportation of blood from one body part to the another body part. Now, when we look at the transport term, I will start from the transport. It means when we take any food material, it digested and absorbed, and after this process, this food material is transferred from one part to another part in the form of energy. It is going to be transported from one part to another part through these arteries and veins. It means there are different form of the materials. Suppose when we are talking about the human heart, it takes the blood inside and it gives out blood. It means, in one word, you can easily understand the human heart is a pumping set which takes the blood and which gives out the blood to entire part of body. In the human heart, when we start the human heart, we should think where it is situated in our body, and this is situated in the thoracic region between the both the lungs, both the chest region, and that is the thoracic region. It is a little bit tilted towards the left hand side. And human heart, as you know, there are 4 chambers in human heart. Human body is well developed organisms body, and so there would be double circulatory system. So it is very interesting to know the path of flow of blood. How does blood reaches, in which chamber it is reaching first, in after first, number 2, number 3, number 4. So there would be a certain path of blood circulation in human body. And since the matter of heart, definitely before beginning the explanation, before beginning the lecture, I should go for the different vessels in our body. You know, there are some ducts, there are some pipes, there are some vessels which are responsible to transfer the blood from one part to another part. There are deoxygenated blood, there is oxygenated blood which is transported by the artery and veins. Artery always carry pure blood except pulmonary artery, and all the veins carry impure blood, deoxygenated blood from vein, and one exception is there, that is pulmonary vein. Otherwise all the veins carry deoxygenated blood. So when we start the transport of materials, I will start from the human heart, I will start from this artery, veins and capillaries, and then we will be going to the next topic, that would be the transportation of food and water and mineral in the plants. That would be in the second video. So in the first, when I want to start this, the vessels, artery and veins. You look at this, artery and veins. Artery always carry pure blood from heart to all the parts of body, and veins carry impure blood. Veins collect the impure blood, veins collect the deoxygenated blood from all the parts of body and bring it back to the human heart. It means, in one word, the systole means when heart contracts, the blood is thrown out, output. And when heart diastole, heart expand, it takes the blood from all part of body to the human heart. So in one term, I could explain in one term, the systole means it putting the blood outside the body, and diastole means it receiving the blood, it collects the blood in the human heart from all parts of the body. So systole and diastole is term which is going to teach the movement of the blood in the heart and outside the heart. So artery and veins. The first one is artery carry pure blood. Arteries always carry, whether it is pulmonary artery or any artery, it transfer the pure blood, oxygenated blood from the heart to the other part of the body. The another one is veins, which carry impure blood, except pulmonary vein that carry the pure blood. I will be reaching there. What is the impure and what is the pure blood? How does between the heart and lungs? I will be explaining when we will be reaching towards the diagram part. Then I will explain the pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, which are the exception in the vessels, right? Number 2, artery always have thick wall. They have thick wall. On the other hand, veins, they have thin wall. The lumen is in the artery. When I am telling you, the inner part is sphere, lumen. It is called lumen. In the entire gap is called lumen. So artery, they have narrow lumen. They have narrow lumen when I am talking about artery, and veins, they have wide lumen. So the lumen is narrow in the artery and lumen is wide in the veins. Artery always gives the jerk for transferring to the different parts, and on the other hand they give low jerk. This vein, one special thing, that vein always they are having valve gate to prevent the backflow. The number 4 difference, fourth difference is very, very important. Look at this wall. No wall is present. And VALVE, wall is present. So when we are talking about the differences between artery and veins, at least 4 differences are required to complete this study about the differences of artery and veins. The number 1 is carry pure blood, except you can write pulmonary artery. I am going to write in the short form pulmonary artery, and veins carry impure blood except pulmonary vein. I'll tell you when there will be transportation in the human heart, then I will tell you what is the pulmonary artery and what is the pulmonary vein. It is between heart and lungs only. One exception is there, that one is special artery, that is pulmonary artery. This does not carry pure blood. Otherwise all the artery carry pure blood from the heart to the body. But between heart and lungs, the pulmonary artery carry impure blood. On the other hand, the pulmonary vein, it carry pure blood from the lungs to the left artery. Between lungs and heart, this pulmonary vein carry the pure blood. So this one exception is there for the artery and vein, that one is special pulmonary artery carry impure deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary vein, it carry the oxygenated. Oxygenated means pure, which is having more oxygen, because this blood is coming from the lungs. So this is called oxygenated or pure blood. When we are going to complete the artery veins differences, we will be noticing these very points, certainly what is the lumen, what is the pressure in the artery and veins. I will tell you in this topic, in this transportation, which is a very wide topic, it is very important to understand in our topic that how does these things work. Like the pressure, the blood pressure is measured through the one equipment. Generally doctor take the stethoscope with them to listen the sound of heart, and the BP, normal BP is 120 by 80 mmHg. 120 is systolic pressure. And the 80 mmHg is diastolic. So doctor can write the BP, normal BP, and through the ECG you can get the complete status of heart, whether it is working good or it does not work in the right preparation. It can be there 120 could reach to 130. It is not hypertension. It is okay. 80 can reach to the 85, 90. There is no problem for the human body. It is also going in different ages. It can fluctuate between 70 to 80, no problem. But when the systolic pressure and diastolic pressure is exceeding or decreasing from 10, minimizing below 10, when it is reaching to the below 90, below 100, the systolic pressure, it's not good. When it is crossing the 130, 135 now, that is going to be hypertension. That could be called high blood pressure. So it is the matter of the next topic, next lecture. But today, this is the blood pressure. Human being, or what is the normal blood pressure? You have to understand the 120 mmHg. It's a when we go for the diagnosis of the blood pressure, we use the sphygmomanometer. When we take the sphygmomanometer through the stethoscope, we can listen sound. The systolic lub and dub sound would be there in the human heart. So in the next topic, in the next lecture, I would be covering that part also. The sphygmomanometer, blood pressure is measured through the sphygmomanometer, and it could be listened through the stethoscope. So this is normal blood pressure in human body. And I will also tell you what is the electrocardiograph, means cardiac measurement. How does this work? Through the ECG signal, we can notice whether the person's blood pressure or human heart is working good, working normal or abnormal conditions. We can diagnose. So human heart can be diagnosed by the measuring this blood pressure of a person, and second one is the through the ECG it could be reached, and there are many. Then angiography, the blood vessels, how does the blood vessels floating the transferring the blood, the narrowing the blood vessels, I mean artery, veins, coronary artery could be measured through the wider range diagnostic technique is that is the angiography, the graph of the angio, the graph of the vessels of the human heart. I'm not going to enter into the deeper part of the human heart, but today, since it is the first topic, the first lecture for the transportation, I should reach to different entire part of the human heart. After these artery veins, one is capillaries. The capillary joins artery and veins. It is present between a thin vessels which joins the artery and veins, right? So after completing the artery, veins and capillaries, I will start the little bit moving towards the blood, right? Blood, 13th part of the total body weight. The percentage of blood is 7%. Total weight of, if a person's weight is 70 kg, so what will be the amount? Nearing to the 5 liter. 7% of the total weight, or you can say the 13th part, right? Whether you can say that the total percentage is 7%, or part if you are calculating, it should be the normal percentage of the human blood in the body. Now, why does blood looks red? I already told in my previous lecture in the respiration that one red color pigment is present in the RBC, that is called hemoglobin. Because of that the blood looks red. So in the blood we will be talking about blood corpuscles, blood plasma, and there are 3 types of blood, especially you have to notice after this: the RBC, red blood cells, white blood cells, which is playing role of defense system, making our immunity strong, which is very, very important. And third one is platelets or thrombocytes, which is responsible for blood clotting, blood coagulation in the human body. Now, the RBC, red blood cells, which contains the hemoglobin, which makes the blood red, which because of this hemoglobin. And the second one is WBC, which is again divided into granulocyte, agranulocytes, Granulocytes are divided into eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils, and agranulocyte divided into lymphocyte and monocyte. So there are 5 subtypes of the WBC. We will not go towards the subtopics because in your syllabus it is the functions of blood. What is the functions of blood? What are different components of the blood is there? RBC, WBC, platelet. RBC carry the oxygen and carbon dioxide with the help of hemoglobin. The WBC produces the antibody, produces the gives the immunity to the body, gives the defense system, makes our defense system strong. So after these subtopics of the blood, I will move towards the functions of the blood. Since blood is a fluid material, a liquid material, blood helps in transporting the food material from one place to another place. It also transports the hormones. It keeps our body temperature constant. Through the blood, we are transporting the glucose, the food material. This blood is also helping in the excretion, in the excretory system. It's a vital role of human blood is there. So it helps in the excretory system, it helps in the excretion process, it helps in the transportation, and it also makes our body temperature very well. It keeps our temperature normal. So 3-4 important functions are there. It also transfer the human hormones from one region to another region. There is only one medium which is playing vital role in human physiology. In human physiology means the working system of the human body, and only the blood is playing very important role, very main role in the human body. So after the function of blood, I would also explain a little bit a smaller topic, that is the blood coagulation. The fibrin is blood clotting agent. Fibrin is a protein which helps in the blood clotting. So the blood clotting, and there are components of the blood in the circulatory system. It is very important. But before reaching to the human heart, today, without drawing the diagram, I will explain a little bit introductory knowledge for the human heart, how does it work. And the next lecture I would be reaching towards their pathway of the blood, the double circulatory system, the comparison of human heart and the feces. How many chambers are there in the human heart, and how many chambers are present in the other organisms. So after these subtopics, I will explain the human heart. As you know, in the earlier classes, in previous classes, in class 7 especially, that the human heart is very well developed heart, and they are showing the double circulatory process. The double circulation is there in the human heart, and they are having the 4 chambers. It means in the human heart there are 4 chambers. Like in the human heart there are 4 chambers, and the upper one is wider and the lower one is little bit narrower. So both the upper one are called auricle or atrium, and the both lower one are called the ventricles. So upper one, right auricle, left auricle, and the lower one is right ventricle and left ventricle. So when we start these circulation, the double circulation in the human heart, today before concluding this topic, I will tell the human heart is always equal to human's fist, and it is covered with the pericardium. So one membrane is there which is covering the human heart, that is the human heart membrane, and the name is pericardium. And this pericardium contains a fluid that is called pericardial fluid. So before going to the next topic, next module, next lecture, for today's lecture it is sufficient, and before closing this topic, this lecture, I would like to give you 4-5 questions for the today's assignment. Number 1, write function of WBC and platelet. Question number 2, write differences between arteries and veins. Any 4 differences you can write, okay? And after this you can write the what is the role of WBC. Write the role of WBCS, white blood cells. And the last question, number 4, what is the function of blood? So there are 4 questions for the topic, and you have to write in your fair notebook in your notes. And, the first one is function of RBCs and WBC and platelet. Number 2, write differences between artery and veins. Number 3, write the role of white blood RBCs. Sorry, should not be repeated here. You can write artery and vein, WBC. So RBCs. Here you can change it. I already asked the WBC, so here you can write RBC. Thank you boys for today's lecture and watching my lecture. Thanks.